Namaste, welcome. Today we'll be doing a practice that I like to call juicy joints, and it's meant to just open up all the major joints of the body, inviting back in synovial fluid, increasing range of motion, decreasing pain, and it is intended to be therapeutic and appropriate for all levels. But that being said, just take really good care of yourself. If you need something for balance nearby, like a chair or a wall, just make sure you have that close by. But otherwise, if you feel any pain or need to make any adjustments, please take care of yourself in the spirit of yoga. So before we get started, just settle into your living body and find your feet on the floor, that place where the feet touch the earth. It's the beginning of our posture. And so just really feel into your feet, maybe even lift up all 10 toes, set them back down. And then allow the vertebrae to stack one on top of the other, stacking head over ribs, ribs over hips. Inviting the palms together at the heart and the eyes to close. And setting any intention you'd like for your practice today. The difference between yoga and exercise is that yoga allows us to connect with our divine self, with our spirit. And so I think it was Feldenkrais who said the quality of your movement can change the quality of your life. So let's move intentionally. Sometimes people like to set an intention of love, compassion. Whatever you'd like more of in your life, make that your intention. Let's seal it in with one big breath, whole body breath. And exhale. Okay, blinking your eyes open. We'll get started with the wrists. So you can intertwine your hands, your fingers, and then just start to make some little joint rotations with the wrist. And switch direction. So these are the joint freeing warm-ups. Good. And then we'll move to the shoulders. So you can either plant your fingertips on your shoulders, or you can keep them just down and do it like this, whatever feels right to you. So kind of like a little bird, we're just going to start to draw some circles with the elbows. Ooh, I hear some cracking on my left side, and then switch direction. So follow your rhythm today. Maybe you feel like making these big, juicy circles, or maybe you just feel like making some littler ones. Whatever feels right to you. Good, and then drop the hands all together and just make some little circles with the nose. You can start clockwise, you can start counterclockwise. And just make sure you go both directions and feeling that place where the head sits on top of the neck. So we're not stretching here, we're really just getting a sense for that range of motion, that little subtle junction there. Good, and winding your circles back to center. I'm going to step back so you can see this, but just place your hands on your hips and start to draw some circles with the hips. So I can feel that my right side is a lot tighter than my left. And maybe think about what functional movements I do throughout the day that could be contributing to that. I know for me it's my sleeping position, but also when I start concentrating on something, I like to sit on my right foot, which is really probably not so great habit for hip health. So even these movements can be kind of a nice assessment. So make sure you've gone in both directions. And then bring the feet all the way to touch. You're just going to make a little micro bend with the knees. You can have your hands on the thighs and just start to draw some little circles of the knees over the ankles. So I'm just going to tilt this down so you can see this. Okay, so like little circles of the knees over the ankles. And it's also a pretty cool dance move. And slow it down if you need to go slower, if you just really want to investigate this movement. Good, and then pressing yourself up to standing. Now this is where we're gonna do a little bit of balance. So if you do need a chair or a wall, make sure to support yourself. But just shift the weight into the left foot. We're gonna send the right toes back. So keeping some length here in the front body through the psoas all the way up. Imagining that little string at the crown of the head pulling you upward. And then you're just gonna start to do some little ankle rotations. And notice what your balance feels like in that left leg as you move the right ankle. Perhaps even getting all the way down into the toe joint. All the joints of the body. Make sure you do both directions, of course. And good, and mindfully step forward, shift your weight, and send the other toes back. And switching the direction, just opening up those ankles. This is really important because one thing you'll notice as people age is they start to get really stiff in their ankles. And so this can not only bring awareness back to that area, but prevent injury, help us to prevent falls, help us to have more stopping potential, right? Because we don't want to walk like this. We want to walk with ankle mobility, okay? All right, great. So those are the warm-ups. Now we're going to move into the formal joint freeing series. All right, so now we're going to move into the formal joint freeing series, also called Pavanmuktasana. And so we're going to start with the feet or the ankles. I'm sitting on the floor, so I invite you to sit on the floor. Another fun way to do this is actually on your back. So we're just gonna focus on the feet, which means that if you wanted to be on your back with the feet up like this, you can do all the movements from there. For the purposes of this video, I am just going to stay seated. All right, so first find your Dandasana, your stick pose, which is just an L shape with the body. You're sitting on your sitting bones. Sometimes it can help to kind of pick that up and feel those little bony prominences right there. And so go ahead and just straighten the legs. You're making an L shape with the body. Find that really nice tall spine posture. And the first thing we're gonna do, so if you look at my feet here, is we're just going to exhale and you're bringing the toes toward the chest. So you're really coming into that dorsiflexion. And then you're gonna inhale, point the toes. So exhale, flex, toes toward the chest, and inhale, point. And now just flow between these two states. And I want you to notice if there's any other area of the body that you feel as you're just moving the feet. So sometimes I'll feel things all the way up in the hips. Very interesting to know that about yourself. Good, so a few more times, just pointing, flexing. If you're on your back, you're just pointing and flexing the ankles. Mindfully paying attention to this part of your body. Good, and then coming back to your Dandasana, just kind of relax a little bit, take a breath. Now we're gonna move into eversion and inversion of the ankles. So what that looks like is the outer part of the foot is coming toward the chest now, and then it's kind of like soles turn toward each other is the opposite. So you've got length on the outer part of the ankle here, and then you're actually contracting or shortening that same part. So I don't know if it will help, but I'll try to do this from both sides so you can kind of see what's happening. All right, so we're gonna inhale, bring the outside of the foot toward the chest. It's a little hard to see. And then exhale, soles toward each other. Inhale, outside of the foot toward the chest. Exhale, soles of the feet toward each other. So if you're on your back, see what that would look like. It's almost like if you had a block. The block might be going off balance. So just flow with your breath. Inhale, exhale. And this can be a weird one, so just be patient with yourself. Explore the range of movement. And whenever you're done, you're done. Practicing acceptance, working with that. Good. So the last thing is you can bring a little space between your feet and just do full circles. Exploring your full range of motion in one direction, full range in the other direction. These can be fast or slow, maybe playing with different speeds here. So healthy for the ankles to do this. All right, beautiful. So now we'll move on to the next thing, which is we're just going to bend and straighten the knee. So I'm gonna actually do this from the side this time. Hopefully you can see this well enough. But what you're gonna do is just allow one foot to straighten outward, and then you're just gonna inhale, straighten, exhale, bend, and bring that ankle toward the sitting bone. So it's inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. And one more time. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Great. And then just lengthen out that leg. Maybe give it a shake and then switch sides. So I like to clasp my hands around the back of my thigh toward the knee, but just do whatever feels right. So you're gonna inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, exhale, bend. One more time. Exhale, bend. Great. Lengthen out both legs, give them a little shake. Okay, so moving our way up the body, let's look at the internal and external rotation of the hips. So spread your legs wide. And just as wide as is comfortable. You don't have to feel like you have to be a gymnast and do splits or anything like that. But starting with the right leg, we're just going to internally rotate and drag that leg over toward the left. Left leg's not moving or doing anything. Externally rotate and drag it over. Internally rotate and drag. Externally rotate and drag. Moving with your breath, moving from the hip joint. And let's switch sides. So internally rotate first, drag it over. Externally rotate the hip and drag it over. So you can tell from where your toes are pointing which rotation is going on. So the toes point outward when you externally rotate, and then they drag over. Okay, so do that a few times on each side, really noticing the difference between the right and left sides. Usually there is one, and sometimes people are pretty surprised at the need to strengthen the external rotators more on one side than the other. And if you are weaker on one side, you can just add a few more of those into your yoga routine. Okay, now moving on to the spine, we'll take a table pose. So we're gonna do hips over ankles and shoulders over wrists. Let's see if I can get in here. All right, it should look something like this. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale, drop the belly, bring your shoulder blades down, look up. Hi, Chloe. This is my cat, Chloe, everyone. So you're using the muscles of the back to contract the back and open the front body as you look up. You don't need to fling the head back though, just kind of look forward, keep a neutral neck. And then exhale, tilt the tailbone down as you press into your hands and contract the front body, inviting length this time into your back. Inhale, contract back body, shoulder blades toward each other. Exhale, contract front body, tilt the tailbone down, press into the hands. Good, and just flow back and forth, inhaling to look up, exhaling to round into cat pose. As my cat sits here purring beside me. You like this pose, don't you, Chloe? Great, so let's add on to this a little bit. So what we're gonna do is you are going to find your table pose again, only this time you're gonna extend your right leg straight back and then exhale, invite your right knee into chest. Okay, so looking at the hip joint now, Chloe's still with us. Let's get back into table pose, right? So shoulders right over the wrists, hips over the knees, and you're just gonna extend your right leg straight back, even a little bit higher, but just make sure that you could balance a ball or a block on your hips. You want those to stay level, but you can definitely lengthen that psoas a little bit. So then inhale, use your glute to extend, exhale, round knee to chest. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, round and curl, knee to chest. Good. And now do the other side, the left side. And notice any differences between the right and the left side. Couple more cat-cows if you feel like it, just to even out. Okay, so back in your table pose, let's go ahead and just shift our hips right and left. So first, just inhale, shift your hips to the right. You don't have to touch the floor. Exhale to center. Inhale, shift your hips to the left. Exhale to center. And just windshield wiper the hips a few times, right and left. See if you can keep your core engaging here as you move. And notice the differences between the right and the left side. And now see if you can exhale as you go to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale to center. Perfect. All right, let's move on. Okay, for the rest of the poses, we'll be in a seated position. So for now, you can either sit right on your ankles. If you need a block under your hips, that's totally fine. We're gonna be working with the wrists for a few minutes. So go ahead and find your nice tall spine, one of the core parts of a healthy yoga practice, right? And then bring your hands out in front of you and just start to flex the fingers back toward the face, just like you see here. High five, everyone. Yep, and so you're gonna just exhale the fingers back toward the face. Inhale, fingers point downward toward the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Perfect. Give yourself a little shake. And so go ahead and bring, almost as though you're making an offering, your palms out in front of you. And kind of like we did with the ankles, we're gonna kind of like evert and invert. It's kind of weird with the hands, but just imagine shortening the right side so that your thumbs are going toward your face as you inhale, and then exhale, it's like you're shortening the left side or the inner part of the hand, right? So imagine it's kind of like this and this, this and this. So you're waving, but in like slow motion. Inhale, exhale. So I can really feel a difference between my right and left sides. I'm sure because I'm right hand dominant. And so I'm exerting a little more effort even when I'm typing or writing on the right hand side. Okay, make some very loose fists, and we're just gonna draw some circles. Check in with your jaw. Is your jaw trying to help? Sometimes the jaw tightens up unconsciously, so actively relax the jaw and then switch directions. Okay, lovely. And bringing your palms out in front of you again, we're just going to bring those fingertips to the shoulders. And what we'll do is we'll inhale, bring elbows together. Exhale, it's as though your elbows are coming together behind you. So what's happening is the shoulder blades are coming together. Shoulder blades are coming apart as elbows come together. Shoulder blades are going together. Make sense? So let's inhale, open the chest, shoulder blades come together. Exhale, elbows come together, shoulder blades go apart. Inhale, exhale. This can feel really juicy for a lot of folks who need this opening, right? So spend as much time as you need. Stop the video, go back and do it again, pause, take as much time as you need here. Open the heart. Okay, great. Let that go. Now we're gonna make goalpost arms. So I'm gonna back up a little bit. Goalpost arms, and we're just going to rotate down, rotate back up. Exhale as you rotate down. Inhale as you rotate back up. This can also be a nice one to do on your back, since you get a little bit more of that biofeedback from the floor. But just for the sake of ease, I'm just gonna stay seated for this. Okay, lovely. So sticking with the shoulder joint, now we're gonna inhale our arms up and exhale, bring them as far back as you can behind you. It's almost like you're holding a ball behind your back. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, palms facing as you move the hands back. And honor what your range is. So if your range doesn't look just like mine, that's perfectly fine. Just go to where you start to feel a little tension and pause and move gracefully with your breath. So doing this series is what's actually going to help your range of motion over time, and it can really shift, probably more quickly than you imagine. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna do some seated cat-cow. So we did cat-cow from the tabletop position. Now we're just doing it from a seated position. So I'm gonna stay slightly sideways facing so you can see this. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna inhale And just contract that back body. Bring your chest, your heart forward. So inhale, opening up. Exhale, hands on knees to support you as you round and curl. Inhale, heart bursts forth. The back body contracts. Exhale, front body contracts, rounding you. Inhale, heart forward, shoulder blades together and down. And exhale, contracting the abdomen, rounding. Let's do that 2 more times. Exhale as you round. Inhale as you move your heart forward. Exhale, curl. And finding your sitting bones. The last couple of movements, the first one is a side body stretch. So what you're gonna do is just place one palm down and you'll just inhale the right arm up and over. Get a nice long stretch through your side body. Exhale to center, switch sides. Inhale to center, exhale, stretch. Inhale to center. You might want to switch the cross of your legs and just do a couple more stretches to either side. Good. Coming up, take a nice deep breath. And the last thing we'll do is a couple of stretches for the neck. So first, we'll just bring chin to chest. Exhale. Finding length through the cervical spine. And then inhale, just look up at the ceiling. Exhale, chin toward heart. Don't worry about it touching. It's just an energetic nod in that direction. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chin to chest. And bringing your head to stack back on top of your shoulders. Now we're just going to rotate right and left. So inhale, look to the right. Exhale to center. Inhale, look left. Exhale to center. And just moving with your breath a couple more times. Great. And what everyone loves, that side neck stretch. I won't leave you hanging without that. So go ahead and bring your right ear to right shoulder. Up to center, left ear, left shoulder. And you can continue on windshield wipering right and left. Or if it feels better to you, you can do those half moon neck circles. And next time your chin comes back toward your chest, just stack your head back on top of your shoulders, shoulders over hips. And thank yourself for completing the Juicy Joints series today. And close your eyes and remember your intention for practicing. Inviting in a deep breath into every cell of your body. And exhale, there's a softening. Namaste. Jai Bhagwan. victory to the light within.